Our next inductee founded the First Baptist women's basketball team, was a dedicated First Baptist employee 1955 to 2006. Believed in Romans 8:38-39. Ladies and gentlemen, Jim Whaley.
I'm Thea Whaley Redondo, graduate of First Baptist class of 1980. Mother to a 2017 First Baptist alum, as well as an 11th grader that's currently here. My children are swimming today, and my daughter's with her college team in Charlotte. My son's with USA Swimming in Rock Hill, and my husband is going back and forth across the state line to cheer them on for both of us, so they couldn't be here. On behalf of my father, Jim Whaley, our family and I wish to extend our most heartfelt gratitude to Graham Haley, thank you so much, and the First Baptist Hall of Fame Committee for this honor. I consider it a privilege to represent my father here today, and I know Daddy would have really appreciated this. Thank you. He would have also done a lot better than I do it. A lot of jokes. As a young boy, Jim spent his early mornings delivering eggs and milk from their family farm in Myrtle Beach, all before school. And soon this future football quarterback and baseball pitcher added the Sun News to his delivery route, executing many successful Hail Marys and curveballs to the city's front porches. Jim and his brother George worked and served in the community. Their father was the chief of police, and they were always held to a higher standard, which really shaped Daddy's life. Jim enjoyed sports, especially football and basketball and baseball, and he was also a lifeguard on the Grand Strand. Not quite sure how much work that really was, but he loved it. He loved swimming and being in the sun. A move to Charleston resulted in Jim serving his country in the U.S. Navy aboard the USS Iowa. A few years later, he also served as a drill instructor in the U.S. Marine Corps at Parris Island. And that being a drill instructor really prepared Jim to be a basketball coach and a father and a grandfather. Jim became a paramedic and drove an ambulance. This first responder met the love of his life, Catherine Craven, who worked in the emergency room at Charleston Memorial Hospital. It was love at first sight for Jim. When he learned that Catherine was a member of First Baptist Church and sung in the church choir, he soon began attending, joined the church, and at the next choir practice, my mom saw the newest choir member, Jim the ambulance driver. My father would defend himself by saying, well, John Hamrick was the pastor, and I was looking for a church home anyway in order to dismiss any stalking accusations. Soon they got married, and Jim's journey took him to First Baptist School. He considered it an honor to be part of furthering the most important mission of the church. Even though Jim needed to juggle his full-time employment with the City of Charleston and naval-based fire departments with his work at First Baptist School, he did so without hesitation. Jim's respect and admiration for Dr. John Hamrick, Vivian Andrews, as well as Dr. Art Earp and brother-in-law Dr. Paul Craven fueled his desire to be a part of God's plan, building and working with everyone for the success of the school. In 1961, Jim began coaching JV boys basketball, and having seen the First Baptist did not have any sports in which female students could participate, he became impassioned to grow a girls' basketball program. And Jim had nieces and 2 daughters, so he's thinking of us as well. One daughter 6 feet tall and one not so tall. I think everyone was relieved when I retired from basketball and stuck with cheerleading. In 1964, Jim began coaching the varsity girls basketball team, or the Hurricanettes as they were affectionately called. He coached through 1975 and then again in 1979. Coach Whaley experienced successful seasons along with rebuilding ones, and he really considered it all valuable for both the program and the girls that played ball for him. Through the years, Jim Whaley had the privilege of coaching over 200 girls in the First Baptist Varsity Girls Program, and he loved his girls. The years without a school gym and no consistent place for his girls to practice meant that Coach Whaley had to get creative. They all did. He held practice in the parking lot at 48 meeting, the asphalt jungle as he called it. Coach Whaley would park his 57 Chevy nearby, have the tailgate down with water, as well as first aid items for those painful wipeouts. Basketball goals have been installed in the parking lot, and the First Baptist family came together as usual to help with this task, students and staff alike. Everything changed for the better when the dream of so many came to fruition with the completion of our gym around 1973, the Johnny Hamrick Activity Center. Jim Whaley's ties with the First Baptist School did not end with his last coaching gig in 1979 when he passed the torch to Bedwall Pool. But Jim went on to spend the next 20 plus years serving FBS in its maintenance department, taking care of the buildings and properties belonging to the church and the school. Jim achieved licensing as an electrical contractor and was able to serve the school professionally. And it's meant a lot to him because he cared deeply for the people who worked and went to school and church in those buildings. Jim got certified to remove the asbestos from the education building, which he considered to be a great accomplishment. He thought the hazmat suit was really cool too. He really loved that suit. In previous years, Jim had served as the bus driver for the basketball team to away games, as well as a school bus driver. So when Jim left the maintenance department, he returned to serving the school as a bus driver. His years of hard work and dedication enabled this devoted husband, father, and grandfather to provide a private Christian education from First Baptist School for 3 children and grandson. He was grateful for this, as were we all. He dearly loved all of his family, especially his 3 grandchildren. Jim enjoyed countless friendships at First Baptist, so many friendships that sustained him through the years that he loved so much. You knew you were loved if you were called Hammerhead, Jackleg, Sasquatch, Pretty Girl, to name a few. He didn't mess with you if he didn't love you. But Jim's various positions brought valuable purpose to his life and provided him an opportunity to serve his Lord and Savior Jesus Christ as he worked tirelessly to try to make a difference and further God's kingdom by supporting the mission of First Baptist Church and School of Charleston. Thank you so much for this honor.